Murder. Unfortunately, it does happen. And it shouldn't come as a surprise to any of us that if someone is guilty of murder, they can't collect the insurance proceeds of the person who died. I mean, that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. In today's case, we're talking about a case that has a little bit of a different wrinkle in it, however. Unfortunately, a man was murdered. His wife was implicated in the murder. She was never charged criminally and, of course, was never convicted. But there were a number of facts there. When the case was going forward, the insurance company said, hey, we're ready to write a check for $1 million. That's what the face value of the life insurance policy was. But the brother of the man who died jumped up and said, no, 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 I don't want this to go to my ex-sister-in-law. I want this instead to go to my brother's kids, my nephews. I think they should get the money because I think their mother killed their father. Okay, so now we go forward in a lawsuit. In the lawsuit, parties have a right to take depositions. Now, deposition is where someone who's going to be a witness at trial must answer questions under oath before a court reporter. Everybody involved in the case, the attorneys involved in the case, have a right to ask questions. And the purpose of this is so when the case goes to trial, we'll know what that person was going to say. This kind of discovery makes sure that people aren't caught in a surprise in a civil case. That's the kind of thing that happened here. The woman's deposition was taken. When it was taken, she didn't say anything. Didn't say a single word other than, I take the Fifth Amendment. I invoke the protection of the Fifth Amendment. Fifth Amendment, of course, is a protection against self-incrimination. It's used for criminal cases. This wasn't a criminal case, but she still used it because the testimony from that deposition could be used later in a criminal case if she were charged criminally. Anyway, case went to trial, and she was all set to testify, saying, well, here's what really happened. And the judge said, oh, hang on a second, you can't do that, can't do that. Can't do that because in your deposition, when you were given an opportunity to say what you were going to say in court, you didn't say anything. You just took the Fifth Amendment. If you want to testify here today, you have to take the Fifth Amendment. Well, that's what happened. She took the Fifth Amendment, said nothing about her involvement in the case. As a result of that, the parties hearing her testimony drew the conclusion that maybe she was at fault. Maybe she in some way was involved in the murder of her husband. And based upon that, along with some other facts, the jury came away saying, you get nothing here, you get nothing. Case went up on appeal, and on appeal, the appellate court said, that's right, that's right. She couldn't testify because she didn't testify in her deposition, and importantly, she didn't say anything at trial, and because she didn't say anything, it was reasonable for the conclusion to be drawn that she was implicated in the murder of her husband. And for that reason, she gets nothing under the insurance contract. Again, she was never charged criminally. She was never convicted criminally. But in the civil case, the jury came away and said, we think there's enough evidence here to implicate her in the murder, and we don't want her to get the money. All right, so what does this have to do with you and your life? Well, hopefully you're not considering murdering anyone, and I know you're not. What this really is about is so you understand how the legal system works. And why do we do this? We do this every week with cases that are decided by real judges, real juries, so that you can understand how the law really works, so you can understand how the law affects you in your life, and you can make the law work for you. I'm David Allen.